Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, as always, David Danto, and I have my good friend Brian Studwell on the call with us today. Brian, say hi to everybody. Tell everybody who
Hi,
you are,
everybody.
what you do in the industry.
So I'm consultant liaison covering nationally for Lightware. Previous to that, I was at Mersive, and previously to that, I was at Crestron for a long stint, and going all the way back to the early 90s doing video conferencing. So certainly seen some growth and change in the industry over the years.
So you're
So
one of the fellow club members that's bounced around from the user side to the sell side, just like me.
yes, exactly.
So in less than 2 weeks at this point now, we've got some interesting events coming up in Las Vegas. I'm going to meet you there. You were in, let me check because I don't want to get it wrong, booth C8056 at InfoComm, correct? And that's in
Correct.
Central Hall. And I don't know, well, you're going to stay by your booth. I'm not going between the Central and West Hall ever. I'm doing the Central Halls on one day and the West Hall on Friday because it's incredibly, even in a good time to go back and forth between them. This year is not a good time with all the construction in the North Hall, but you're going to be stuck there all day. What will we see from Light? Well, actually, before I even ask you what we'll see from Lightware, we'll keep that hint for the end of this. Tell us about Lightware. What does the company do? What are the products and what are the services?
So Lightware last year at InfoComm was our 25th anniversary. So for a lot of people that don't know who Lightware is, we've now 26 years old. And we come out of the live event. Our founder, owner of the company, it's privately held. We're out of Hungary. Budapest is our headquarters. And we actually have an incredible line of switchers and other products. We have over 600 products. So that's, I mean, I could talk all day about every product we made. But really, this year's focus for us has been this continued growth. We introduced 4 years ago our UCX line called Taurus, which combines USB and HDMI switching into one platform. And so this is a continued pathway for us expanding that ecosystem. So we're really looking forward to this InfoComm. Have some great demos in the booth. So
the these are components for integrated installations that are going to make people's life easier, right?
correct.
The users won't know about these things chugging along in the background. They'll just know they want to do A or B or C, and when they press the button, these are the things that will magically make it happen.
Correct. And actually part of what our strength is don't even have to push a button. One of in the background and how our switches work is just auto configuration. We can really accomplish a tremendous amount without a control system. We have what we refer to as LARA, which is our Lightware Advanced Room Automation System, which can give you the basis of a control system, and it's an open API. So we have a lot of great partners and ways to control the system, but a lot of rooms you don't even need. You walk in, you plug in that USB-C cable, your HDMI cable, and a USB cable, and you're off to the races, in a BYOM situation.
Yeah, I've started to see a number of manufacturers in the AV and collaboration space trying to get away from the traditional collaboration control systems and building some of that in, whether you're talking about a video bar or an audio bar that's using camera switching based on which microphone is being picked up or auto sensing what's being plugged in a big situation. I guess we're moving into the era of integration light, where you don't need the complexity and the programming and the storing of the code when the devices that you're putting in can kind of do most of it for you.
That's right. Exactly. And our value proposition in all this is to be agnostic. So we want to be, between whatever that computer and the display, but whatever, you're bringing in terms of your camera, your audio system, we want to be able to interop with all those very easily. And one of the big things, especially for the end users, you mentioned it before, you walk into a conference room, an end user wants simplicity. And so what we're doing over our Taurus line of switchers is we're delivering on that USB-C cable, your audio, your video, also you can turn on a gigabyte of Ethernet data, but you also are getting up to 100 watts of charging. So now it's that single cable. I plug in, I can go all day in my Zoom meetings, my Microsoft Teams meetings, whatever.
No, that's
So
great. Again, I've started to see a lot of people providing that kind of capability where it's a single USB-C cable, powers everything, does everything, carries all the audio and video. So that's really the direction that a lot of the BYOD, BYOM meetings are going. I also got an email from your company, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, that had a Microsoft Teams product or compatibility announcement. Do you recall what I'm talking about? You want to give us some details on that?
yeah, sure. I mean, it's so we introduced a companion app that would allow us to know if there's a Teams meeting going on in that specific space. So if you have your MTR, great. You can have that, but you can have us as an auxiliary to that. So it gives you expansion upon that system, it gives you a little bit more switching capabilities, but it also still allows that end user to have that single cable plug so that we see that triggers basically a command to go out, check the MTR to see, is there a meeting going on? Because you certainly don't want to take the cameras. You only want to be the input. You want to be, a video add to that. But if there is no MTR meeting going on, now we can get the peripherals and we pass those along to the user that just walked in and plugged their laptop. So that will be one of the demos that we show at the booth.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you want to be perceived in the industry by the end users. Are you looking to compete with some of the other, programming control? You're looking to compete with some of the other glue manufacturers. Where do you see your niche is in
We
the wide space of AV?
we see ourselves as a leader in USB switching. That's primarily, where we are right now. We do a lot, like I said, a lot of great other things, but where we want to be is we want to be in all those rooms, allowing for easy connectivity for the end users. So, for example, we originally introduced Taurus 4 years ago. And in that scenario, the USB switching was all localized. So it was okay, it was a 4x2, four inputs, two outputs, and you had to plug in all your peripherals on the backside. That's a little bit restraining because now everything has to be underneath the table. And that's like, okay, that's great, but how do I extend that? Last fall, we introduced an extension to that. So now you still have that switcher, but we actually use a combination of the SDVOE and a Icron chip in there. So we're extending USB 2.0 so we could actually get to the display and we could have your peripherals plugged in over there, plus your HDMI output. And now building out on the ecosystem, what we're going to be showing at the show, and we actually already started shipping some of it. We'll be shipping the rest of it over the summer, is both a less populated at the table switch, 2x1, and then a receiver at the other side that's more populated, a 3x3, so that I can put my NUC, my MTR, whatever other device that might be at the other end, and I can put all that behind the display. We know most of the designs these days, people love to use behind the display or credenza underneath the display for putting that equipment. So we're looking to introduce that. And then beyond all that too, one of the key elements of things we're going to be introducing is what we're calling TPN. So I just said we use an SDVOE chip to make that extension happen with the USB. Next phase of that is actually the show will be showing TPN, which is now we're going to put it all on network. So we'll be doing full USB 2.0 extension around on the network. So we'll have full bandwidth on that. And we'll able to incorporate that for larger, more complicated spaces, multi-camera spaces, things like that. So that's really where we want to be seen in that as an industry leader, is that kind of collaboration.
So one kind of standardized cabling for everything, just Cat 6 Ethernet everywhere, and that's going to be able to transport
Cat
and
6A, but okay.
6A.
Yeah, Cat 6A. And given some power situations, I would say use shielded, please. So
So who are you selling to And I don't mean that, and obviously the answer is everybody. You want everybody to buy everything that you make, but is this really a product that you want consultants or integrators to be more aware of? Are you looking to really reach the end users to make them understand the ease of experience? Who are you mostly working with?
It's interesting. I mean, obviously, my role here is to represent consultants. So I call on the consultant channel and get them to know what we do, know how to use our product. But we definitely are focused a lot on the corporate, and we're getting a lot of end user interest because of that simplicity and that you want to establish a standard across the enterprise. So yeah, that's a lot of our growth is in that corporate channel. Plus, though, on the same side, I just mentioned that whole TPN and where we're going, and we also have some other, I want to say, simplified extensions, which fits into our education channel. So we definitely are, really trying to pump on that education as well, because look, most of the classrooms nowadays are, oh, we need to be able to do hybrid. So it fits right into where we're going with that as well. So it's not that we're, trying to be everything to everybody, but we pretty much, any place that you need that kind of connectivity where you want to take over the peripherals in a space. Another piece that we're showing at the conference is going to be a bi-directional Dante built in. So we'll have two channels of Dante. You can buy a switch with two channels of Dante. What that allows for, though, is a lot of integration with whatever audio system you want to do. So it's that sort of not just USB peripherals, but now we're expanding into the audio system. We'll have a demo with where we're using our partner Sennheiser and actually allowing for voice control of cameras via the Dante audio channel.
Okay. Very interesting. So what would be your elevator pitch if this is your last shot at speaking to somebody before they leave for InfoComm? What do you want them to come see in your booth? What will that experience be like?
Come see our world-class leading USB switching solutions for all of your conference rooms.
Terrific. If somebody wants to get more information before going to InfoComm or after going to InfoComm, where do they go? How do they do that? And how would they reach out to you if they have any questions for you specifically?
I'm happy to answer anything or direct it to the appropriate parties internally. So just brian.studwell@lightware.com, and I'm happy to take those emails.
And the website is lightware.com.
Correct. And there's a plethora of information on the website. So yeah, please check that out.
Brian, thanks very much for taking the time to chat with everybody this week and let us know what the offerings are. I will see you in Las Vegas in a week and a half-ish, I guess is the time frame that we're talking about, and look forward to seeing you there. Safe travels.
Safe travels to you too. Thanks, David.
Thank you. And thank you very much for watching. Next week, as I said, we're all going to be at InfoComm, so I'm going to be showing you a very interesting conversation that my partner and pal Dave Michaels and I had about the MTR ecosystem. MTRs are beautiful solutions, and they've just kind of been humming along for a while and gaining growth. And then, the 800-pound gorilla Cisco joined the MTR ecosystem, and we chat about who might be the winners and losers from that. So we'll play that for you next week, and then I'll be back the week after with my InfoComm wrap-up and all the interviews we did from the show floor. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next week.